Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. in the UK. That's not too early, so we can't be too tired. I am so excited to be chatting with you all this morning. We're obviously going to be doing a tutorial on the Salut by Elgar, but I'm going to be talking about lots of very, very general things. Now, I want to ask for an assurance from all of you, especially the little ones, which is for two things. One is that you're going to be positive and calm, and two is that you're going to be as focused as you possibly can be. And if you can accomplish those two things together, you're going to learn lots and lots and lots. Okay, so I thought we would start off, as you can see, with no violin. And the reason for that is that when we start to do something as complicated as playing the violin, or any instrument in fact, our brain and our hands get all tangled up, and sometimes it's really difficult to separate them. So what we want to do is just deal with what's going on in here first. So we're going to go through a process of familiarization. That's kind of a long, convoluted word, but it's a good one. We are going to familiarize ourselves with certain aspects of this particular piece to begin with. So when you take a piece of music, now I've got both E major and D major versions of Salut here, which is staying true to my point. I am not discriminating against either of them. All of this applies to both. When you have a piece of music, you want to go through a checklist of the most basic things to begin with. So, of course, we want to look at the key signature. We want to look at the time signature. We want to look at the length of the piece. We also want to look at the general structure. And a little tip on structure is that when you look at something, you can generally see, just by a vague impression, when are things more complex, when are things more simple, when are things similar, when are things rising, when are things falling. So look at it almost like you'd look at a road map, or you'd look at like a maths equation, maybe not a maths equation, forget that. You'd look at something that you're trying to get the general gist of, and you will get a feeling for the structure of it. Now, the next familiarization I want you to do is look at parts that you think you might find really difficult. What looks like a difficult, tricky little corner that might be a little bit of a stumbling block that before you get to, you're going to start worrying about. So try to identify those places. Now, a few more things that are a little bit grander in thought and in scale, which relate to your intention. Do you know what I mean by intention? Intention means the thing that is your priority. What are you trying to do? Might not always be what you do, but it's what you're trying to do. So the intention of your sound, the intention of your expression. What are you trying to say and express in this piece? And what kind of sound do you want to make? That is your first set of familiarizations. This is just a quick little addition, which Scott, who helps me do these films, has agreed to insert for me. Thank you, Scott, to say that all the answers to all the questions I'm asking you about key signature, time signature, structure, form, I'm not answering them on purpose because I want you to answer these questions for yourself. To think for yourself is one of the most important things in life generally and in practice. So answer away. Right, so the second set of familiarizations, I'm loving that word, is physical. And so I thought we would just take ourselves through a little checklist of our bodies. So start off or continue still without your instrument. I want you to familiarize yourself with the floor. Now that sounds kind of strange, but we obviously walk on the floor all the time. And we kind of think we're on the ground, but are we really connected to the ground? Now, if you just kind of, I know you can't see my feet just now, but my knees are bent, they're not locked straight back. If you just sort of bob up and down a little bit on your knees, and when you're doing that, can you feel that your feet actually get heavier into the ground? So you feel all the parts of the soles of your feet actually connected to the ground. When you play, a lot of the time we live up like this. and we're playing like this and we're not really connected to the ground. So when things are going wrong, I want you to actually think, am I connected to the ground? And if not, do what I'm suggesting. The next thing is your shoulders. Your shoulders sit on the rest of your body, and they should sit there in a very natural way. And if they don't, your brain can help you with that. So just think about where your shoulders are. And in response to your shoulders being the right place, we want to familiarize ourselves with our arms and make them as weighted and as comfortable as possible. Next, your hands. You want your hands to be as floppy as possible. If anybody had seen David Munn's Instagram tutorial the other day, he was used in all sorts of brilliant things about like zombies and about wiping gunk off your hands and all that kind of stuff. Go and watch it. It's brilliant. You want your hands to be as free and as flexible as possible. So now we are going to separate out our hands. So if we get the left hand warmed up to begin with, we can actually take the instrument, and what is always really, really good to do is not worry about your bow first. Take the instrument like this so that you're holding onto it and it's very, very secure and doesn't feel like you're having to support too much with this hand. Now what we want to do is just go bold with the left hand. We're not making a sound, so we're not worried about that. We're just going to go bold. So start, as I always say for any of you who watch any of my videos, I always say start with this position here because you're close to the wood and that's nice and comfortable. I want you to go down and then all the way up to the top. And then down and all the way up to the top. If you are fearing doing this, it's only your mind holding you back. Don't fear it, just absolutely go for it. So you're trying to get this nice and free. And can you see what my elbow is doing? My elbow's helping the rest of my arm. So everything is kind of moving everywhere. Excellent. And now can we just move this way? And now can we hold on to the instrument? And can we draw circles? Can we go kind of behind us, in front of us? Just realize that you can actually do whatever you like with this instrument, but please don't drop it. Please, you'll get me in trouble. And I really don't want to be in trouble. Okay, now can we just wiggle the fingers and drop, wiggle the fingers, drop, wiggle the fingers, drop. Excellent, excellent. Right, now we're going to put down that instrument and we're going to take up the other instrument, which is the bow. Now I want you just to take the bow in the left hand, and I want you to just start painting with this hand. You can see it properly like this, just painting, painting, painting. And then that painting, oh my goodness, my hand looks so big in that thing, weird. Then this gets really, really floppy and eventually you can just flop it onto the bow. And you can keep waving. Can you see that? See where my thumb just kind of found its way in there. And the fingers are just really flexible and floppy in the top, and then you can just keep waving. Okay, so we've familiarized ourselves with the left and right hand. Now I want you to just do one thing. Keep this floppy. Can you let go and feel the balance between the thumb and the pinky? That one's a little bit tricky, but it's a good one to start trying to do. Right, so I'm coming back. Now we are going to take both in a sort of, I guess, kind of a resting position, and I just want you to feel where the hands are and I want you to bob up and down. Excellent, really, really good. You can do that for much longer than I'm doing it for right now. Okay, so now we're just going to create sound without worrying about the left hand, and then we are going to calmly step through the Salut d'amour, not worrying about sound. I'll show you what I mean. Sound. You're going to start on a down bow or an up bow. My D major version on YouTube, which I very kindly agreed to record for you guys, starts on a down bow. The E major starts on an up bow. Do what is comfortable for you. Everybody does these things totally uniquely and you just have to find what works for you. So down bow. Bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, dum, bum, ba. And up bow and so I'm trying to create a free sound, one that breathes. I don't want to be pushing down. I just wanted to sing out as much as possible. You can go through the entire piece like that. A little bit confusing sometimes when you're not actually hearing the notes, but the idea is, as I stated at the beginning, worry about how the right hand sounds and how the right hand sounds, the sound the right hand is making and how the right hand feels, and do not be concerned with what the left hand has to do. Separating out left and right hand are incredibly valuable, is an incredibly valuable skill, and so much of playing an instrument is about coordination, so it's very important to learn how to do that. Now I'm going to take the D major version for now, and I'm just going to show you how I would familiarize myself with the notes in a way that is not concerned with making too much sound. So I would do it in a very calm, almost kind of passive way. So not worrying too much about rhythm. So I've taken away every single bit of complication there. Vibrato, rhythm, nice sound. I'm just worrying about where are my fingers being placed. I would do that right to the end. You can pause this video and have a go. And be really consistent and patient. Do it just very calmly, but right to the very end. The next few minutes are going to be an exercise in patience, because we're going to do something unbelievably slowly. But I want you to trust me and remember this. If you do something slowly and difficult that takes a huge amount of concentration, where your brain feels like it's going to explode, you're concentrating so much, do not do it for long. Because what happens to your concentration when you're really intense is that it's going to start to dip like that. And then you will get frustrated, you'll get impatient, you'll get annoyed, and you'll get worse, not better. So here it goes. I am going to go through this very, very slowly. I think I'll probably do the first 30 bars, but I expect you to do the whole thing. The whole time I'm playing, I'm thinking about everything from string crossing to intonation to sound. And dynamics too. Okay. So, when you do something really slowly, what it does is gives you the chance to analyze everything. And generally when you're analyzing everything, let me just go to one of my catchphrases, which is that slow practice is not a holiday for the mind. When you practice slowly and when you can analyze everything, it's very, very easy to actually get a little bit disheartened because there's probably lots of things that will go not quite right. You have to stay focused, but stay focused on the bigger picture. What are the things that you're noticing? What are the things you're able to improve? What are the things that are getting better and can improve? Right, so today we've covered a whole load of familiarization. First is with the music. Next is with your general physicality and with the floor. The next is with the left part of your body and the right part of your body. Then we separated out the two hands. We looked at doing just the sound without worrying about left hand. We looked at then doing just the fingering without worrying about rhythm, about sound, or about vibrato. After that, we did an exercise in patience. So we're trying to play through most of the piece at an extremely slow tempo, but you basically only have to do that one time if you concentrate really hard. Now, that exercise in patience at a very slow speed, as we said, can throw up lots of things that you're not happy with, but just take a mental note of them and stay as positive as possible. Now, that whole routine of doing just that should only take about 15 minutes, which is not that long. So I would set you the task of doing that routine more than once today. So that's like 30 minutes. Maybe you could manage 45, doing 3 times that. If you keep it to 15 minutes and stay super concentrated, those 15 minutes can be incredibly impactful. So I would love you to share with us any little videos of your progress, of you doing some of these exercises or some of the things that I have suggested. You can hashtag Salut Nicky. Hi! And we'd love to see anything you want to share with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. So I am setting you the task of doing those at least 2 15-minute little practice sessions. And the second thing I would like to ask of you today in preparation for tomorrow is, could everybody please look at these first 4 bars? And I want you to write to us to tell us what you think are the biggest challenges with those first 4 bars. Now, I can imagine what some of the things might be. Some of the things might be the string crossing. Some of the things might be starting with a clean, beautiful, sweet sound, because that's quite difficult to do. What we're going to do tomorrow is, after we have experienced that very slow, patient practice that we've done, which is just calm, we're going to tackle a couple of really difficult things and look at when they don't get better and how can we be disciplined and persevere when things don't go our way and when things become really, really hard. And we're also going to practice the art of repetition. I look forward to tomorrow. I look forward to seeing your videos, and I shall see you then.